Now we just want to add a couple more details to the top here. So we're going to add some control buttons. In order to do that, we need to just switch our plane back on here. So let's switch that on so we can see it. And let's add a new sketch to that plane. Let's normalize. And what we're going to do is, normally it looks like that. We're going to add an ellipse and then we're going to add a couple of circles. So if you notice, as I come down from the center, an orange dashed line happens. Now that's good because it shows us that it's linked to the middle of our work. And it means I don't have to measure anymore. And where I've got an orange dashed line here now, that means it's horizontal. That's good. So I'm going to add that. And then lastly, it wants to know a height as well. So we're going to just keep it something like that, ready so we can use dimensions. So we'll press the dimension tool. Let's dimension the total width. Okay, so in this instance, I want this to be 20. We're going to dimension the height. So let's do from here to here. And let's change that to 10. So we've got a 20 by 10. And then if I press the escape key, I can visibly move it, or I can select the center plane, like so, and change it to be an exact measurement, which is always better. Before I accept, I'm going to change and pick center point circle. I'm going to, notice what I'm doing, I'm hovering over the middle now and dragging it to the left. That means that the center of my circle will align with the center of the ellipse. I'll show you that again. Hover over, drag to the right, draw my two circles. So now let me dimension both of my circles. Of course, if I change them both to 10, that should match the height of the ellipse, like so. And then what I want to do is measure from the center of the central point here to the center of my circle. So let's pick the center and the center and do it that way. You notice just before it wouldn't work when I was trying to do to the center axis point. So instead I picked the center of the circle. I'm going to change that to be 17.5, and I'm going to repeat that for this one at this side. So the trick is that sometimes when you come to do something, and if it doesn't work, don't panic, find a different way, because there's usually another way to make it work. Let's accept that. I'm going to spin my work round, and I'm going to extrude all three of those shapes. I'm going to send them the other way, and I'm going to choose remove. Okay, so actually these are going to become buttons. However, we don't just extrude them and add them on. Everything that we do, we make as a separate part. That way, by doing that, that allows us to make it separately on the 3D printers or whatever machines we do. We can apply different materials and so on. So let's accept that. We're not going to add any little fillets or rounds to this at this stage, because we don't need to. That comes a little bit later after we've modelled these and we've modelled what goes in here. Okay, the last thing we're just going to do is we're just going to add a fillet of 0.5 millimeters to this bottom edge, which should go all the way around. Okay, and that just demonstrates that the top will be different than the bottom. You'll see that when I switch the bottom on, and that now highlights the split line. We will add a round to this after we've shelled it and so on. Spin my work around.